when we talk about what's reasonable and not reasonable in this case, ask yourself at that moment in time, as Tay-K is running inside that house with two guys armed with guns and one of them armed with a set of brass knuckles, what his expectations were from that night. He's already pled guilty to you today, saying, hey, I'm guilty that I knew that somebody was going to get threatened, but I'm not going to be guilty of a crime I didn't anticipate. That will be the testimony. But that's not reasonable. Put yourself in that situation right then and consider the evidence about what he knew in this case and when he knew it. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Walker was sitting on a stool in a bedroom with his girlfriend Alyssa Rao playing video games when he was killed. He wasn't hurting anybody. Let me just ask you this question. When you saw that person come around the corner with a mask on his face, how did you feel?
I was scared, very scared.
Did you have any idea at that moment about what was going on?
I was in shock and I was confused.
Was that person holding anything?
Okay.
Tay agreed to participate in a robbery. Tay participated in a robbery. But he stood up here yesterday in front of you and in front of this court and accepted responsibility for what he agreed to do and what he participated in, and pled guilty to the robbery by threats using a gun, threatening somebody with a gun in counts 3 and counts 4. The girls planned this. They set it up, and the boys were supposed to come in and hold everybody off, and Tay-K had a bag. It was going to get the money and the drugs from under the couch and run back out. Well, that's not what happened. Everything went tragically wrong in there.
Foreman, it's my understanding the jury's reached a verdict, is that correct?
Yes.
Is this on all of the charges?
Yes.
You're presented to Rachel, I'll read it, and you may be seated. Count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar Trevon McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. Madam Foreman, was this your verdict?
Yes.
And was it unanimous?
Yes.
As to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar Trevon McIntyre, guilty of the offense of aggravated robbery as charged in count 2 of the indictment. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Was it unanimous?
Yes.
Very well.
How could he not have anticipated? Because he knew the things that y'all know now after 2 days of testimony. He knew those things on the night of July 26, 2016. Ethan Walker sat on the floor with his back against a bed with his hands up in the air in a vulnerable, defenseless position. Letharian Merritt shot him through the heart. Didn't shoot him in the hand, didn't shoot him in the foot, didn't fire off a warning shot to scare him. He shot him center mass. Killed him. That is intentional. And of course the defendant should have anticipated all this. He should have anticipated, because you know how he knew what was going to go down that night and what the risks were for his conspiracy? Because he wanted his own gun. As he asked Mariah Quadri, can I borrow a gun from you? Or can you point me to somebody where I can borrow a gun? What else do we know about what he should have anticipated that night? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the red flags were right in front of his face. It's like a Christmas tree blinking on and off that night.
I want to start with, what was Tamar's role in this? Okay? And his role in this is certainly described by several people, but what was his role? Number 1, Tamar never touched, handled, loaded, cleaned, carried a firearm either before this incident that day, during the incident that day, or after the incident that day. There is not a scintilla of evidence that he did that. Tamor didn't anticipate this was going to happen. None of these girls anticipated this was going to happen. And nobody should anticipate that somebody was going to go in there and intentionally shoot somebody. It wasn't part of the plan. You know that because, let me tell you why. If it was part of the plan that somebody was going to kill somebody in there, the girls in Tamor wouldn't have freaked out and run out the front door when the first shot went off if it was part of the plan.